Hey guys, it's Mrs. Katz again, and we are going to be doing another lesson today. This time it's on frequency tables. So let's jump right in. A frequency table displays data that's been collected. It's just a quick and easy way for us to organize information. You can do it simply, anybody who scored 1 point, they get a tally. So this represents one person who scored 1 point. This one scored 2 points. This is one person who scored 2 points. And you'll notice we're adding those tallies up. This shows that 3 people scored 3 soccer scores. And notice that we count up those tallies and we mark them. So we start with a score in this case. So you could have scored 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 goals. And then we tally up how many people did that. One did 1, one scored 2, 3 people scored 3, 1 person scored 4, and 4 people scored 5. And after we've tallied, we actually write the frequency. So it showed up 1 time, 3, 1, and 4. Now, when we make a frequency table, oftentimes, especially when we're dealing with histograms, which is our focus, we're talking about intervals. We're not going to count up every single individual score. We're going to look at intervals or groups of scores. So here it's the number of cups of coffee you might drink in a week. Okay, so the number of people who drink between 0 and 3 cups of coffee in a week will be 2, and that's the frequency. The number of people who drink between 4 and 7 coffees per week, or cups of coffee, there were 3 people who said they drank that much coffee in a week, and there's its frequency, etc. Notice that when we do these intervals, I can't tell you if this person drank 0, 1, 2, or 3 cups of coffee. I just know that this person drank somewhere in this range. Okay. When we're determining intervals for a frequency table, we have 3 criteria. 1, they have to be equal. So if you notice here, you've got 0, 1, 2, 3. There are 4 different numbers that fall in that category. In the second group, you've got 4, 5, 6, and 7. There are 4 different responses that could fall in that section, etc. So all of the intervals must be equal. They must be inclusive, of all the data, meaning it's got to make sure that we have an interval to place the smallest number in our data set as well as the highest. So here we know that the number of cups of coffee that people chose when asked this question ranged between 0 and 19. Okay? And last but not least, they cannot overlap. So in other words, we wouldn't do 0 to 3 and then 3 to 7, because if we did that, we wouldn't know where to put the number 3. So if somebody said that they drank 3 cups of coffee, we need to know exactly where to place that. It can only go in one category. Okay? So if we're looking at it again, there's 3 main qualities that a proper interval will have. It has to be equal, meaning that there's the same number of options in each section. It has to be inclusive of all data, meaning it's got to go from the lowest piece of data that we've collected all the way to the highest. And it cannot overlap. Okay? And one of the big ideas here is that in a frequency table where we're using intervals, I can't tell you exactly what the responses were for any of these tallies. All I know is that whoever answered the question, this person must have said something between 8 and 11. And that's why they're in that interval. All right? Let's take a look at some of the data here. And let's see about if it makes for good intervals, okay? So we're going to circle the thumbs up if we feel like it's a good interval, and we're going to circle the thumbs down if we don't. We'll do number 1 together, and then we'll take another pause so you can answer the others and come back. So remember, we're looking for 3 things. Are they equal? Are they inclusive of all the data? And they don't overlap. So here, from 1 to 10, our data, by the way, ran from 2 to 38. So we need to make sure that our intervals include all the numbers from 2 to 38. So let's start with equal. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 numbers in each interval. And as you notice, this one has 10 numbers in each interval. Okay? Is it inclusive of all the data? Does it go all the way from 2 to 38? Well, since it starts at 1 and ends at 40, it is inclusive of all the data. And we notice that they don't overlap. It picks up from 10 to 11, from 20 to 21, from 30 to 31. So this is a good interval. We could use those to create the histograms we're going to do tomorrow. All right, here's where I want you to take a pause hit the pause button for me, spend a few minutes answering questions 2 through 5, and then unpause so we can check your answers. All right, hopefully you have already answered questions 2 through 5, and now we're going to go over them. So first of all, number 2. Is number 2 a good set of intervals? Does it meet all 3 criteria? Is it equal, inclusive of all the data, and not overlapping? Well, look here. We see that 10 and 20 and 30 overlap. So if somebody said that they drank 10 cups of coffee or whatever it was, I wouldn't know which interval to place that data. So this is not a good set of intervals. Okay, in question number 3, this one goes from 0 to 10, or 1 to 10, which is 10 points of interval. But here we only go 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So this only represents 5 pieces of data, while this represents 10. Since they are not equal, this one is not a good set of data. Here, from 1 to 8, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is 8 pieces of data. 9 to 16, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's 8. And we go up and we find that it's continually 8 all the way up. It goes from 2 to 38. We can include any of those pieces of data. And there's no overlap. It goes from 8 to 9, 16 to 17, etc. This is a good set of data. It meets all 3 criteria. And then the last one, while the intervals are all equal, it does not extend, and they don't overlap, it doesn't extend from 2 to 38. Anything after 30 wouldn't have a place in our data. So this makes it not a good set of intervals. All right, so that is the basic understanding of a frequency table. You've got some IXL to go back to, so make sure you check the blog to finish your assignments for today, and I will see you again tomorrow.